swears his own kids are not TikTok users.
We do not have the under 13.
In 2017, an inside joke went around 4chan where a guy cooked chicken drenched in NyQuil and called it Sleepy Time Chicken. At first, it started out as just that, just a funny inside joke. But of course, later in late 2022, the trend became popular on TikTok. As a result, health organizations told people to get some common sense and to not cook chicken in NyQuil, since it essentially tear gases your entire kitchen. Basically, if you inhale this do-it-yourself tear gas, it can cause a lot of shitty side effects, including death. Now, thankfully no one was unfortunate enough to die from this trend, but just because God threw some people a bone this time around, it doesn't mean it's safe. Also, just don't eat it for the love of God, it looks foul. For a lot of people, 2020 was undoubtedly the worst year in terms of social interaction and having a lively society in general, with the COVID-19 pandemic affecting the entire world with restrictions, lockdowns, etc. Needless to say, a lot of people developed cabin fever during this hard year. But one person took it to the extreme and had the absolute 1000 IQ idea to film herself licking a toilet while she was on an airplane. I'm of course talking about Ava Louise. And keep in mind that she did this at the very beginning when COVID was only prevalent in Asia. And when she got inevitable backlash by people with actual brains, she later went on to admit that she did it for clout in hopes that she would get a reality show about her. Which is funny considering the fact that the world already has a reality show based around a bunch of morons. Anyways, while she was being clowned on by everyone, TikTok users decided to Jimmy Neutron brain blast a new trend called the Coronavirus Challenge. And it's as bad as it sounds. Basically, the goal was to lick objects that are touched by many people on a daily basis like doorknobs and toilet seats, as Ava Louise did. To no one's surprise, a lot of people ended up getting COVID because of this. I'm sure everyone and their grandma knows about this trend. The Tide Pod Challenge started when the concept of eating Tide Pods became a huge meme in early 2018. It got so popular that people on TikTok decided to actually eat them for clout. It got so bad that grocery stores literally had to encase Tide Pods in plastic boxes to prevent teens from poisoning themselves. And on top of that, pretty much every single social media website banned videos that had anything to do with Tide Pods. But unfortunately, the damage was already done, as at least 10 teenagers have died after attempting the challenge. It's unfortunate that those teenagers died, but at the same time, they put do not eat labels on products like these for a goddamn reason. The Blackout Challenge, aka the Pass Out Challenge, requires people to not breathe for as long as possible before blacking out, hence its name. This is another trend that has existed for a while, ever since 2008, but in 2021, it somehow had a comeback in popularity on TikTok and finally died down in mid to late 2022. Speaking of dying down, this trend alone has killed more than 20 kids before TikTok eventually cracked down on the trend. Some of those kids were even under 12 years old, which is horrifying to think about. In late 2019, there was a trend where people would gather around and throw things in the air. And the premise was that if you were the one to get hit on the head by the object in question, then you would lose. Now, it started off with just throwing a basketball in the air, but as the trend got more and more popular, people took the game one step further and decided to throw heavier objects in the air, like metal ladders. Now, this game can be safe, just as long as you're not throwing heavy shit in the air, but risking a concussion for 5 minutes of fame on TikTok can't be a good way to live your life, in my opinion. Now, from my research, there hasn't been any reports of anyone getting seriously hurt doing this, but correct me if I'm wrong.
Hey there. Subscribe to my channel. And also press this bell icon.